Hello and welcome to Farm Journal Live. I'm editor Clint Griffiths from our newsroom in northern Indiana as we bring you the latest on what's happening with the coronavirus and its impacts to agriculture. But first, I hope everybody had a great weekend, was able to get a little bit of sunshine, enjoy some time with friends and family, at a distance, of course. Let's get to some of the headlines as we begin a fresh week here. Another ramp up in tensions between the U.S. and China is causing some financial commodity markets to slide to start the week, with China facing a wave of criticism over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic. President Trump threatening over the weekend to terminate the Phase 1 trade deal if China fails to fulfill its promise to buy $200 billion more in American goods and services. Both corn and soybeans feeling a little bit of that effect, lower to start the week, with bean futures down around the 15-cent mark at midday. Hog prices, however, continuing to rally off of those recent lows, now above the $65 per hundred mark. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 4,900 workers at meat and poultry processing facilities have been diagnosed with the virus. 20 have now died. The agency reporting the illnesses happening among 130,000 workers at 115 facilities in 19 states. The CDC saying plant workers may be at risk for a number of reasons, including difficulties with physical distancing and hygiene, along with crowded living and transportation conditions. Researchers have suggested disinfection be increased and workers get regular screenings for the virus. More plants are starting to reopen after being closed due to virus outbreaks. Tyson Foods saying it will reopen a plant in Logansport, Indiana with limited production. The pork processing plant closed for 14 days in an effort to contain the outbreak. Almost 900 employees have tested positive for the coronavirus. The company says it has taken additional precautions to reassure employees their work environment is safe, and it has doubled employee bonuses and increased short-term disability coverage to 90% of normal pay until June 30th. And the Smithfield Foods pork processing plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, now back open. It was closed for more than 2 weeks. The plant, one of the largest pork processing facilities in the U.S. Only 2 departments are being staffed right now: ground seasoned pork and night cleanup. The outbreak of the virus infected about 853 employees. It has 3,100 workers. Over the weekend on Sunday, 60 Minutes ran an interesting story about the impact of the coronavirus on rural hospitals and healthcare in Texas. Joining us now is the gentleman that oversees a lot of that, Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller. Mr. Miller, thank you so much for taking a few minutes here on Farm Journal Live. Can you give us an update on the state and how things are going so far?
Well, good. Howdy. Good to be with you. Of course, we're still doing what we can to keep these rural hospitals open, and it's a real struggle. It was actually a struggle before the pandemic hit. You know, we have the highest uninsured rate. We have the most elderly population. We have the 2 most dangerous occupations, farming and oil field services. So, you know, and then you put the pandemic on top of it. The supplies have gone up for these rural hospitals cost-wise. Excuse me, we've got you know, to keep the doors open somehow. There's no elective surgeries anymore, no sports injuries, very few automobile accidents, and no one's coming to the hospital. I mean, the only people you're going to find in a rural hospital right now is heart attack victims for the most part. So you've got all of these you know, things going the wrong way for rural hospitals, so they're really struggling.
Do you think it's going to take some additional support? Do you think it will take some additional support to be able to get through this time period? And I mean, I thought it was an interesting look last night in the story that CBS 60 Minutes did.
Well, that's what we're doing. You know, I was able to draw down some federal dollars. You know, we were to the point where 60 of these rural hospitals only had 2 weeks worth of cash left. But this week, you know, we've salvaged those hospitals. We got them $90,000. That's going to last them anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And we're trying to bring down some more federal dollars, you know, to help us get through this. Hopefully, you know, summer's coming. It gets hot in Texas. Hopefully this pandemic will kind of, you know, wane and leave out of here.
Yeah, I know we've been kind of covering this issue for a while and keeping track on what's going on with our rural hospitals. Have you learned anything? You know, we keep talking about maybe in the fall this comes back or maybe it doesn't, but have you learned anything that you think other states should be thinking about?
I think we've learned a lot, not just in rural healthcare, but in agriculture commodities, how we respond. How do we get ready for something like this? My office, we run all the nutrition programs, so we know how to respond to a hurricane, and we know we get the food commodities into the shelters. And right now, I've got 5,000 feeding sites set up across the state of Texas to deal with this. But we're not. When a hurricane hits, it's usually 15 or 20 counties tops. Now we've got all 254 that we're having to do that in. So it's quite challenging. It's the first time we've ever had to react to something of this magnitude.
I know we've been talking a lot about the meat packers and the processing facilities and, the folks that put the food together to make sure that it's available in grocery stores. How's that going in the state of Texas?
Well, we're doing pretty good. First, I want to put some rumors to rest.
Sure.
The state government, the federal government is not mandating that farmers euthanize their livestock. They're not mandating that you plow up your crops. That's all false information, folks. There is a little bit of that going on. Hopefully not any more than we have to. About 5% of the milk has been dumped, but we're working through that. We do not have a food shortage. We've got plenty of food. We have a labeling and a distribution problem. We can't get adjusted to the way the market is swung. Schools are closed. That's our biggest market for milk.
Mm-hmm.
So that market's gone. Pizza places, Mexican restaurants, Italian restaurants have all been closed. They consume cheese. About 40% of our milk goes into cheese. So the cheese market is gone, but the fluid milk is very, very heavy, but we can't get it bottled fast enough. We can't find enough egg cartons to put all the eggs in. A bunch of that went to the commercial bakeries and to restaurants. So we're just having to adjust to the way we distribute our foodstuffs.
As the state starts to kind of reopen a little bit here as you go, what's top of mind for you? Do you think we'll see some improvement in our distribution with more people going to restaurants and some of their typical haunts?
We did a slow opening last week, 25%, unless you have a very low amount of COVID in your community, you can 50% occupancy in restaurants. We're moving, movie theaters, etc. We still have our barbershops, nail salons, gyms are still closed, but I think the 15th we're going to open those up. Do some social distance. All of our churches are open. Not all are having services. It's up to them. It's not mandated, but they can if they want.
Yeah, as agriculture tries to work through this time, obviously we've seen some dips in our commodity prices, and things haven't been super strong. We've had some issues with what the price of cattle has been and what the price of hogs have been and milk and all of that. How are you trying to deal with that as running the ag department there in Texas, a pretty important state for agriculture?
Well, we deal with commodity prices all the time anyway. Nothing new for us. When I became commissioner, we have a marketing program called the Go Texan program. Actually, we have a show on RFD TV on Tuesday nights. Join in. Shameful plug, I guess. But it did a global outreach initiative. So first 12 months I was in office, me or one of my employees were on every continent on the globe marketing these commodities and getting us new customers. This is before the tariff war with China. We've got to spread out our risk. We should never let any one country have 60% of our soybean business. So about 20%, we need to find new markets. So we were already hustling that. And we continue to do that today.
I enjoyed the program last night, especially seeing you hand deliver hand sanitizer across the state there. What did you think of the program? What was your takeaway?
What's that? I'm sorry.
What was your takeaway from the 60 Minutes program last night? I really enjoyed the scenes of you hand delivering hand sanitizer to different hospitals and clinics around the state.
We've actually had a great response. We've had a doctor volunteer his plane to deliver those personal protective equipment anywhere in the state if we need help delivery. One lady called in and said that she wanted the address of the clinic in Calhoun County. She wanted to donate her stimulus check to help keep that clinic open. That's powerful stuff.
Absolutely powerful stuff. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time with us. Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller, we really appreciate you filling in and kind of telling us what the state of things are there in the state of Texas. Of course, we're going to continue to cover the coronavirus outbreak and its impact on agriculture. You can go to agweb.com/coronavirus, our own little shameless plug there. agweb.com/coronavirus for the very latest on the outbreak and how it's impacting the agricultural industry. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. Thanks for watching.
This season, rather than madness, opening days, or taking a break, the world is frozen, silenced by quarantines, isolated by distance, and edging on panic. But while work for you may have changed, out here, we're still going strong. Our season is underway. The crops will get planted, the livestock will be fed, and your food will continue to be grown, just like it's been for generations. There's plenty to worry about. But out here, social distancing is our specialty. American agriculture farms on, today and tomorrow, for our family and yours.